Welcome back, everybody, to my podcast where everything goes. It has a strong focus on music, movies, books, and video games, and basically all the forms of media that we love to be entertained by. Please forgive any background noise that you may hear from my mic or my guest's mic because we're family men, and our families like to play too. So I'm Protodead, your host, and I like all sorts of media, and I really enjoy sharing that stuff with other people. And today I've got GN Grizz with me, who's a part-time YouTube guy, full-time family guy, streams a little bit here and there, and likes video games. Grizz, how in the hell are you doing today?
Doing great, man. Thanks for asking. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Everything's good. What's new? What's new in your life?
I mean, for people that don't know, I work full time, go to school full time. I have a 5-month-old at home, so it's just crazy busy. I'd never have time, but I always find time to make time to play video games, hang out with friends.
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah. Have you discovered any new talents, or have you overcome any difficulties with the new baby?
Um, I think I haven't because I have a 9-year-old daughter. But my wife is definitely overcome from being a new mom. She's got all those new mom jitters, um, being able to get the baby to sleep and then just leave her in her bassinet versus holding her to sleep. There's definitely been things like that that have been overcome. And 2 months in, she was sleeping in her bassinet overnight. So I'll take that as a win any day of the week.
Yep, right on. Um, what's your baby's done lately? Like, what's a milestone? Rolled over, lift the head up, or whatever?
Um, she's been able to roll from her tummy to her back since probably about 2.5, 3 months. She just recently started rolling over from her back to her tummy.
Mm,
Um, she's had really good head control from about a month, maybe even sooner than that.
yeah.
So that's not been an issue. She's sitting up in high chairs already. So she's definitely progressing really well. We're excited about it because with every new parent, especially with my wife, it's is she progressing enough? Is she progressing fast enough?
Yeah.
Um, they we don't want them to grow up fast, but we want them to be where they're supposed to be
Develop.
when they're developly when they need to be. So it just it's been great, enjoying it. It's a new part of life that we're having to kind of get used to, um, but I think we're managing it really well.
That's great. That's good news, man. I'm done having kids. Yeah, I'm all finished. I got two boys, a lovely wife. Both of my boys are smart and healthy, and I've got a vasectomy, so I am 100% done with making babies.
We plan to have at least one more. We'll just have to see how the pregnancy goes.
Yeah.
Of course, the first one we didn't have such great luck with. We had some issues. He dealt with gestational diabetes and gestational hypertension, which caused us to have a C-section. So
Oh,
it kind of you can have I think up to 3 kids with the C-section. They don't really want you to go past that, but if the complications are there again, we're not sure if we're going to want to go through it for a third time.
yeah. Word. I hear that, man. My wife never had a C-section, so I know that C-sections are problematic. They leave scar tissue, and I don't know what all different problems there is, but C-section was going to be my rapper name once upon a time when I was young. I was going to be a rapper until I found out what it meant, and then I was like, my career's trash. It's not going to work.
Yeah, yeah, I
Yep.
don't think that name would have worked well.
No. Um, yeah. Then it was going to be heterozygus, but that was too hard to spell, so I gave up.
What is heterozygous? Like, what does that mean?
It's like what genes are recessive. There's like
Okay,
there's heterozygous. There's homogeneous. No, I'm thinking of something different. Yeah, heterozygous is definitely like a recessive gene, but I can't remember the ins and outs of what it's like. If you're an albino, you have a gene that's heterozygous to create the possibility to carry that gene onto your offspring, but that doesn't necessarily mean that your offspring will be um, albino. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. It was just a funny thing that I dreamt up just now. Anyhow, Andy, you've been playing any good video games lately?
Um, so right now I'm kind of bouncing between three. Assassin's Creed Valhalla on PS5. That's kind of when no one else is on, and I just want to play a single player game. I
Yeah.
go to that. Then we have EFT, or for people that don't know, Escape from Tarkov.
Oh yeah.
Um, it's a game I enjoy playing with friends. It's definitely a whole different video game in itself compared to most first-person shooters.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I play Warzone, which I haven't had a group of friends to play that with in a long time. I think a lot of people got burnt out on it because there is no actual anti-cheat. So there's a lot of hackers in it. Um, but with that being said, the new developers that are starting that'll take over the game in November, when the new Call of Duty comes out, which is Vanguard, they actually are implementing an anti-cheat for the first time in Warzone in the 2 years that it's been up. So I'm really looking forward to see what they do.
Ooh.
My only concern is it's too late
Yeah.
because Battlefield 2042 is coming out in November,
Yeah.
and a lot of people are going to transition from Warzone to Battlefield. Even though Battlefield's not, they're not putting in a battle royale,
Yeah.
it's still that big multiplayer, huge map
Yeah.
type of scene. And they're going so on the old gen consoles, it's still going to be like 62 players, but on the next gens and even for PC, you're looking at 150 players in Battlefield, which is what Warzone is. So
Yeah.
it's really going to be, is it too late for Call of Duty to fix what they should have fixed years ago?
Yeah, I hear you there. That's that's one of the things that Battlefield is going to have a serious like one up and a leg up on the competition of Warzone is because Battlefield is going to have planes and helicopters and tanks and other vehicles and shit like that. And I want to say, correct me if I'm wrong, that Warzone doesn't have any of the vehicles.
So they don't have vehicles that you can use to shoot people and down things. They did for about a week, and then they realized that it's overpowered because there was no other aircraft that did it, no other vehicle did it. It was one vehicle, and if a team of really good people got that vehicle, got two or three of them,
Hmm.
modded all the way up in the end game, there was no beating it. They'd just sit in their vehicles and kill everybody. Um, but with Battlefield, they have the jets that can shoot rockets, shoot machine guns.
Hmm.
They do have tanks. They do have a couple other vehicles that actually are used for combat. Where with Warzone, it's more of a just a quick way of transportation because there's helicopters, there's motorcycles, um, there's what's called a Bertha, which is like a heavy armored truck,
Mm.
but all you do is drive it. You don't actually
It's just
combat with it.
transport, so ATVs and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Now that you're talking, I remember when we played Warzone. I think we got on an ATV. I don't know what I was thinking, but yeah, four wheeler. So yeah, they do have a few vehicles, but it's not like to the scale of how Battlefield does it.
No, Battlefield's going to have so many different dynamics of combat that make Battlefield a great game. Um, I've tried Battlefield back when I wasn't really good at first-person shooters, and of course I gave it up because I was garbage.
Mm.
Um, but I feel like I have progressed in my skill level in first-person shooters, so I'm really wanting to try Battlefield again, just because I believe it's going to be the next first-person shooter mainstream game.
It's going to be
Because
the next big one that everybody kind of flocks to, and
Mhm.
that's going to be the possibly the thing that when you hear people talking at work, instead of them saying, "Hey, you're going to be on Warzone tonight," they're going to say, "Hey, you're going to be on Battlefield tonight."
Yeah, because and I love Escape from Tarkov, but Escape from Tarkov is not everybody's cup of tea. Um, the hardcore first-person shooter players love Tarkov because what it gives you that hardcore first-person shooter that you actually have to strategize. You actually have to play the game. You don't just load in, go kill a bunch of things, and be done. There's no mini map. There's nothing that gives you an advantage in the game besides what loot you have found and came out with.
Yeah, it's definitely a different game. It's pretty can be pretty frustrating. And that's the reason why it's so successful.
Yeah.
It's because the highs are so high.
It's still in beta, and I'm really enjoying it. Like, I hopped on it 3 years ago now, 2-3 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
There was a little bit of time where I didn't play it just because I didn't have a PC and school was really consuming my time.
Yeah, somebody bought your PC away from you.
Yep. But now that I have a PC again and the little bit of time I get to play video games, if somebody's on and wants to play Tarkov, I'm going to hop on Tarkov versus Warzone or even versus Assassin's Creed, just because I really enjoy Tarkov. Even when I'm having crappy raids and I don't do well, it's the thrill of being able to go in and do it.
Yeah, and that heavy focus on team play that you have to have when you play as a team on Tarkov. It's a little bit more involved. There's more on the line. The stakes are higher.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, as you know, I like Tarkov quite a bit. I can't play it all the time, and sometimes I get frustrated to the point where I really don't want to play it. But it's grabbed me in a way that other video games don't. And yeah, I really think that it's very influential. It's something I keep gravitating towards. It's like a boomerang. I keep coming back to it, even if I take a 6-month break or whatever. Just like a heroin addict, I'm right back again.
Yeah, and I'm the same way. And I think anyone that's ever played it, it's the same way. You get to where you play it for 4 or 5 months, and you're like, well, I want to go play something different. But then 6 months later, you're right back on Tarkov.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's nice to have that kind of game in your wheelhouse of games to be able to just, hey, I'm done with all these. I want to go do this.
Yeah. Yeah, I always keep it loaded, I keep it updated.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not one of those games that I ever uninstall and then worry about downloading again later. It's,
And honestly, it'd probably be pointless to just uninstall it and reinstall it because it's just such a small it's a small download compared to Warzone or some of the other games. It's really small. It doesn't take up a lot of space on your hard drive.
No way. How small is it?
Only like 12 gigabytes.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, a lot of that's because a lot of their stuff is server side.
Yeah. I don't know enough about that stuff. I want to know. I don't. Yeah.
But Warzone's 85 gigabytes.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Especially for after I played it a few times, and it's like, I'm not seeing where all like, why does it need that much space?
A lot of people say it's because how big the map is.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you were to keep that server side kind of like Tarkov does, because the maps in Tarkov aren't much smaller. If you really put it into retrospect, some of the maps on Tarkov are almost just the same size.
Yeah.
But Call of Duty they do it that way because they do play on console. So not everybody can just pull all that from a server to the console like PC does. So they try to make it fair by making everyone download the same size game.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It still doesn't make sense to me, to be 100% honest, but that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
I still got a lot to learn about how video games are made and how that stuff works. But let me ask you a question. Escape from Tarkov, we're talking about it. What is the thing that you hate about Escape from Tarkov?
Honestly, I think the thing that I hate the most from Tarkov is they fix something and then a couple wipes later, I feel like it's right back to where it was in some places. For instance, like the ping issue,
Yeah.
number one issue right now, that didn't used to be there.
Yeah, it
Um,
didn't. They added that ping
and
limit.
and it's funny because even for me, who is on a really good Wi-Fi setup, has a really good computer, brand new,
Yeah.
I still get that ping issue.
Hmm.
I should not be getting that ping issue.
And you've got really fast internet, although you are on Wi-Fi.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm still pushing 500 to 800 megabits per second over Wi-Fi. So I really shouldn't have that ping issue. I don't have any ping issue in any other game but Tarkov.
Yeah, their ping issues really really shitty. I don't understand nor do I respect their Nikita's and BSG's position that somehow that's combating real money trading and cheating. They say that. I don't understand why they think that. It's only hurting me and my people that I want to play with. It hurts my dad because he gets disconnected from raids, and then if you get disconnected like 4 or 5 times, and even if you're able to log back in, it'll just disconnect you permanently from the raid, and you lose all your shit. So that happens to me, that happens to my dad, and it happens to you occasionally too.
Yeah, yeah, and it it just blows my mind that with how well we are with internet and even ping is why are we still having this issue?
Yeah, yeah. I
Um,
mean, they put the ping limit
especially
in. Go ahead.
especially when they're not dropping that many actual players into the match.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're doing it because they say that the people who do real money trading and the people that cheat, there's fewer of those people out there, and the people who do carries too. I've explained this before on a previous podcast, but those people, they're not all in the United States. But the people paying money to get the benefit from the cheaters, those people may be in the UK or in the United States. But the people doing the cheating may be in the Netherlands or in um, the Middle East or China or something like that. So one of these two people, they have to connect to a server that's in their region. So one of the other people, like say, if the cheater says, "Hey, I'm going to be the group leader. I'm in China. We're going to go into a raid together. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to give you all the loot that we find, and you're going to give me real money later or whatever. You've already paid real money through PayPal or whatever."
Okay.
The people that are buying the cheats, they're in America or they're in the UK. They're going to get really super shitty ping because now they're connecting to a Chinese server. So they get disconnected over and over again, and that interrupts the ability for these two parties to interact and continue to cheat at the game. That's their logic. That's their line of thinking. So they're trying to control what little they can control because they can't eradicate the cheaters. They don't have a good enough anti-cheat for that. Um, BattlEye isn't that great, and their own system isn't that great either. I mean, they ban cheaters, yeah, but it takes like several weeks, and by that time, a whole bunch of real money trading has been done, and those people that have been doing the cheating for 3 weeks before they get banned, they're able to buy a new account anyway. They can just buy a new account and immediately start cheating again, earning more black market money. So, long story short, the way it's been explained by BSG is that this is one of the things that they can do. So they implemented the ping limit, and everybody should be able to play in their own region, no problem. Discounting the very small portion of people that just have shitty internet. Those people just get the shaft.
Yeah, which I think that's wrong on that end.
Yep. Yeah, man.
But I
I
mean, I understand where they're coming from, and honestly, that's more than what Call of Duty does for cheating. So,
yeah.
I'll give them, hey, great job for at least trying something,
Yeah.
but maybe actually spend the money and get a really good anti-cheat.
Maybe. I mean, from my personal opinion is BSG has so much money now that we shouldn't really be having a cheating problem. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they've got going on, but I do know that they've made so much money since BSG has blown up. Escape from Tarkov.
Yeah, because I mean, it's not just a game that only like
A few
two, three
people know
hundred
about.
thousand people have.
Yeah,
Um,
it's become a big title on Twitch, and people want to know what it is, and other people are buying it like crazy.
and then look at all the hackers that just keep buying new accounts. Yeah, they're not buying like the Edge of Darkness edition or anything like that, but
Yeah, right.
it's still like 40, $50 every time they create a new account.
Yep. Yeah, you're right. Oh man. So yeah, that's definitely one of the things that I hate about EFT. That's funny that you mentioned that because that was going to be mine.
I mean, and that's the only problem I really have. Other than that, I think they're putting out a game that I think once it fully releases and they have everything out, I think it's going to be fantastic. I mean, I already enjoy it in the state that it's in. It's just the small little thing they're trying to do isn't helping the general population that want to play this game to have fun.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. Well, what upgrades have you done to your computer lately?
Lately, I just upgraded from a 6800 XT from AMD SI Ventus 3 times overclock edition 3080 Ti. Um,
Oh
I
yeah.
I made this upgrade not discounting AMD at all. The AMD 1600 XT is an amazing graphics card. Um, I think with AMD, they don't have the software that NVIDIA does, and they don't have the drivers that NVIDIA does. Um, the biggest issue I had with AMD is they'd fix an issue with one driver update and then break it again with the next one.
Yeah.
And the biggest one with that one is their clock speeds and their VRAM usage. So on a 16 gig graphics card, I should have only been using like 5 to 6 gigabytes of that RAM when playing, say, Call of Duty. Um, but it was peaking all the way up to full 16 gig max. And then the next driver update, they'd fix it to where it does what it's supposed to. But then they'd break it again with the next driver update. Um, and it caused a lot of inconsistencies in frames where I'd go from 165 to drop all the way down to 100, back up to 165, which of course caused screen tearing because it's dropping so many frames in such little time. Um, and this just was not prevalent in Call of Duty. It was prevalent in a bunch of the other games I played. So, and then NVIDIA has the filters, and the filters are just an absolute amazing piece of software. For
Mm.
Call of Duty, it brightens everything up if you have the right filter settings, which you can Google it. They're out there. One of the best Call of Duty players in the world, probably the number one in the world if you actually look at his stats. Created some filter settings that he uses, and they're recommended by any streamer out there, any professional Call of Duty player.
Hmm.
And I can tell using them, it's better than what I had before. And then I've also upgraded from the 970 Evo Plus M.2s from Samsung
Hmm.
to the Samsung 980 Pros M.2s. They read and write about 3,500 megabytes per second faster than the 970 Evo Pluses.
Well, hell yeah.
So, and then of course, the system's brand new as of January.
Yeah.
So
It's clean.
fun.
It's clean and it's not bogged down with a bunch of bloatware and stuff, and it's just fresh. It's like a top running, rebuilt engine in a hot rod car
Yep.
or a souped up Volkswagen engine.
Yeah. What about you? What kind of upgrades have you done lately?
I was thinking if you had an extra one of those M.2s lying around that I might could get from you.
I actually have both of those Samsung 970 Evo Pluses laying around.
Yeah.
I'd gladly give you one because I think I'm going to use the other one in my PlayStation 5's extra M.2 slot.
I didn't know they had M.2s.
Yep. So the new consoles, the next gen consoles, both have M.2s. The only thing with Xbox is Microsoft, of course, pulled the Microsoft thing, and you have to buy their M.2. They didn't just use a
Proprietary.
regular PCIe M.2 slot. They used their slot, and it has to be their M.2.
Those monkey lickers.
Where PlayStation was like, we're going to give you two slots. We're going to put one of our M.2s in it, but then the other slot will be used for whatever you want to put in it. It's the 4.0 slot, so it's the latest revision of the chipset for the M.2s.
Mm.
So it'll take any M.2. So I'm like, I have an extra 970 EVO Plus.
Hell
I'll throw
yeah.
it in there. I'm pretty sure they're beta testing the software for it right now because it didn't come. It's in there, but they didn't have the software out right away.
Yeah.
They wanted to work through all the other bugs that came with a new console dropping, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, there just hasn't been enough people to get their hands on the console for it to be tested enough. I think they started beta testing that software, though, I want to say back in June, maybe even July. And they plan to have it fully out by the end of October.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. I plan on trying to. Right now, I'm in the beginning phases of trying to build my wife her computer.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm trying to source some parts. I've got a I've
That
got a CPU.
M.2, that M.2 will be really nice. It's I want to say it's right around 3,800 read and right about 3,200 write per second, which I mean for
Seems like a lot.
it's yeah. I mean, um, I didn't have any issues with it. I was just able to get the 980 Pros for a heck of a deal, so I took advantage of it and snagged them while I could.
Cool. Yeah, right on. I think I've got a few fans, and I've got a CPU that might could be okay. I've got to check with the resident expert, and we're gonna see if we can build a computer off of that. Got to save my pennies first, but I would like to build her personal gaming computer, so that way we can do some multiplayer gaming on some stuff here and there. But mostly she wants it so she can get on there and browse and do whatever she needs to do with no hang-ups, and it'd be fast as hell, you know.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I mean, my wife loves turning my computer on and using it for just whatever she needs to do. Um,
Oh, I bet.
when you compare it to even my laptop, I have a great laptop, but compared to my PC, it's slow.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. So upgrades on my computer. Um, I put in a USB card, so a PCIe times one, I think, slot, or times four slot. Yeah, I bought one of those, and I slipped it in there. It was just plug and play. It just works. So it gave me 5 USB ports off the back of the case, because the Be Quiet case that I got from a very special friend of mine that sold me the computer, it only has 2 USB, or no, hold on, 4 USB ports on it. So 2 in the front and 2 in the back. And the 2 in the back are taken up by the mouse and the keyboard. So I didn't have near enough ports. So I put that in there, and so now I've got all the USB ports that I need for all my peripherals, which I do have quite a bit. You know, I've got the mixer board for the microphone, and um, a couple other things. I think I got a foot pedals for like a race car video game, and yeah, and then recently put the 2080 Super in. Did that just this weekend.
So how's that 2080 Super treating you?
It really feels like it's going fast. It. I can't really tell, but it feels like it should. It might be psychosomatic, but it feels like it's actually running better than the base 2080. So I'm really happy about it. I'm gonna keep it. I'm excited about putting the 2080 that was in the PC into my son's big red computer. Once we can get all the cords and get that hooked up, and possibly a new power supply, and then get that plugged up, and then my youngest son will get the graphics card out of that computer, and then everybody gets an upgrade all around, and we're really, really excited about that. We're really happy about it.
Good man. And yeah, as far as USB ports go, think on mine, I think my motherboard has like 7 USB 3.0 ports.
Yeah, that's a lot, man.
And then, of course, the case itself has uh, 2 on top with the USB-C on top. Um, but yeah, no, those quick plug and play USB cards that you just plug into a PCI slot, they're fantastic.
Hmm. Yep. Yeah, they're definitely cool. There's several other upgrades that I plan on doing to the computer, but once I do these next three or four, that's going to be it. That's all I'm going to need for the next long time. I'm hoping to get another SSD in there, and then you know maybe a larger hard disk drive for some of my video storage stuff. But for the most part, man, I've got it. It's ironed out, man. It's solid.
Yeah, yeah. I did pick up one thing I forgot to mention. I did pick up a Stream Deck a while back. Um,
Yeah,
I'm really enjoying using it. I plan to actually make an overall general video on how to use it.
you should.
Um, it just it when you're streaming or even when you're recording, it'll just help to where you don't have to remember those hotkeys. Because let's be honest, there's 1,000 hotkeys for every software we use.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and trying to remember which hotkey won't interfere with the hotkey from the other software that you have open, be a pain. So I mean, the one I got is just a 5x3, so it's 15 little buttons. You can set them to whatever hotkeys you want. Of course, then you can also set up to where if you're recording or even streaming, with a tap of a button, it sends out notifications via whatever streaming service you're using that, hey, we're going live. It automatically starts recording, turns on everything it needs to start streaming with a simple click of the button, which I think is fantastic because you don't actually have to go into the software, click through all the prompts, and then start it. It's just as simple as hitting a button.
Hell yeah. I can't wait to be able to get me one of those. I'm interested, but I'm going to have to save my pennies. I've got several other projects that are in the way first that I need to get done. But yeah, I'd definitely be picking up one of those once I get faster internet as well, because I think that's going to help my whole situation.
Oh yeah. One of the key features I got it for was to be able to do the quick little 5-minute clips when you're playing.
Hmm.
And it's just as simple as hitting a button, and it automatically will save that 5-minute clip, and then you can go back and edit it later as you want. I know a couple other people that have done it where they do 30-second clips,
Hmm.
um, and it will record it, save it, send it through their video editing software with their pre-built filters that they use, and then automatically upload it to like YouTube, TikTok, whatever
Hmm.
social media that they use,
Hmm.
all with the click of a button,
Yeah.
without having to get out of the game, without having to do any of that. It's just a quick one button, and it does all of it. Which I
Wow.
mean, for anyone that plays video games, that's huge.
Yeah,
I
man.
mean, it'll save you time from having to get done when you're playing and then edit the video, which 30 seconds really isn't much, but I mean, that's your highlight clip. That's a quick 30-second highlight clip.
Yep. Yeah, I would enjoy that. Nvidia's got the instant shadow play record thing, but you can't it doesn't do the macro upload stuff and all that stuff. It just saves it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Well, maybe one day if I get one, you can show me how to use it.
Yeah, that would not be a problem at all.
Hell yeah. Um, hmm. You want to go back to talking about some Tarkov stuff?
Sure.
Hey, what do you think about the dynamic loot?
So to be honest, I haven't actually had a chance to watch that video yet. Um, it is in my spectrum to go back and watch it.
Yeah.
If you could maybe provide some details on it, maybe I can understand a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, the I think the idea is a lot of players seem to think that what the whole idea with dynamic loot is going to be, when you walk into dorms or whatever, and there's a loose loot that's like on tables and like on the couch or on the floor, like pretty much those static spawn points that spawn one item in that little node or that little hidden seed or whatever, that the majority of those items are like the same sort of loot pool, like the same sort of items, you know what I mean? Um, like if you go to into customs up on top of where like the radio tower thing is, there's like this wrecked little outpost area up there. And if you look on the table, you might find a handful of nuts or maybe a pair of pliers, or maybe you'll find a drink or something like that there. If something spawns in that point, dynamic loot is supposed to be like anything can spawn in that point. And also, instead of just anything has the possibility to spawn in that point, if a lot of people are picking up loot from that point, it will, next raid that populates, it will have less of a chance to spawn something. So for instance, the idea what the players believe is that if over the last week, if a lot of players have been looting like all the dorms, like opening up the rooms and looting all these different rooms instead of just the hot spots, they're looting everything in dorms. Well, just because they've been getting picked, like in a garden, you keep picking all your vegetables, you're not going to have any vegetables to pick later, right? It takes time for your plants to grow your vegetables. So the possibility of loot spawning there in the next raids coming up in the next few days is going to diminish to such a degree where the new hotspot now may be in construction in customs instead of the dorms area. So you'll start seeing more loot like in and around the broken construction area on the ground or on the little, concrete barriers or something like that. So it will, once the player base starts to catch wind of, well, dorms isn't really hot right now for loot. I mean, we go there for fighting people or whatever, or killing the scavs or whatever, getting into gunfights. But you're not going to find much loot there right now because, dude, it's been getting picked over this past couple of weeks. If you really want loot, you got to go to the garages, where all the storage sheds are, because no one hit that last week. Like, you know what I mean?
So it's going to force players and people to go to more of the map than what they would normally go to.
Exactly.
For instance, a good one in dorms would be like the marked room.
Yes, right.
If people just continually hit the marked room, well, you might go in there and it might be the crappiest 5.4539 ammo, and no one's going to grab it.
Right.
But if you go over to, say, old gas, where not a lot of people go, and you're going to find that nice year PS ammo. I think it's the top one PS, I think. Could be wrong.
Yeah, it depends on what caliber you're talking about.
I'm thinking the 5.4539 or the 7.62.
7.62 PS is pretty like run-of-the-mill, middle-of-the-road ammo. I think it's got BP. BP is like the top. Or Ilgolnik. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Point is,
I really think that'll help get, so for instance, for people doing quests in dorms, of course it's still going to be hot just for that, because they're not going to change those quests. If they do, it'd be really surprising, but it's going to make it to where maybe those people doing those quests won't run into so many people in dorms, and maybe they can get out and finish their quest, and because I mean, I think that's one of the hardest things I have, is going in and going to that one spot where there's like 800 other people going.
Yeah.
Because not only is it a quest spot, but it's one of the hottest loot spots in the map.
Yes, right, because of the marked area.
So for guys like me, it's like, okay, if I'm going in by myself, well, I'm going to wait 20 minutes. I'm going to go hide in a bush, and then I'm going to go do my quest.
Yeah.
But then I have the chance of running into a scav player, and so I think it'll definitely give a whole nother dynamic to the game, but I think it'll only improve the game overall.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the big takeaway is that it's going to, the meta on where people go to get loot, if you're not clued into the public in the the player base's information that they spread on Reddit and the forums and YouTube videos and all these other streamer communities and stuff, if you're not clued into all that stuff, then you're not going to be riding the wave. And what I mean is the wave of what the meta is for where the loot is spawning currently right now. It's gonna ebb and flow, man, like waves on the ocean, because it's going to be ever changing. Dynamic. Their idea that the dynamic loot is going to be not just anything can spawn in the area, but also it's going to be reactionary for how many times that loot is picked raid after raid. And that's going to change. To put a metaphor on it, the way I picture it in my mind is like, if you take a walk in the woods and you walk in the woods all the time and you walk in the woods the same route every time, eventually you're going to beat a path in through the woods. You're going to beat the plants back with your footsteps, and you're going to create a dirt path, just like animals do when you go out there and you can see where animals track. That's, if you take that same analogy and think that's the way the loot will be. If you always just go the same path in the raid that other people go to pick up loot, you're not going to find, that loot is going to be beaten back to such a degree where it's not going to be very good. You have to go off the beaten path to find the good loot. And if everybody's constantly trying to do that, then it's going to be like, you don't know where the good stuff's going to be. You're better off just searching right close to where you are, because there could be anything next to you,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fantabulous if they can do that.
Yeah, and I agree. It's going to make it where maybe even people watch streamers.
Yeah. Watch
I mean,
streamers
of course,
more?
well, yeah, that stream EFT, because in order to get that kind of sense of where the loot's at, who better to look at to find it than the guys that play the game probably 5 to 6 days a week for 4 to 6 hours a day.
That's right.
Than to look at the streamers,
That's
which
right.
to me, this without the content creators, even like yourself, without content creators, the people that play those games, a lot of times they don't know where they're going, or
Yep.
even maybe how to strategize the game, especially in a game like Escape from Tarkov, where if you're going in and you don't have any friends that play it, you've never watched anyone stream it, you're going to get into a raid, and that's all you're going to play. You're going to be done, because it's just, that game is so harsh on
Yeah.
people that don't know what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it'll help those guys out as well.
Yeah, this game really is one of those, you have to be connected and you have to be paying attention. You have to be listening to the new news all the time. And I think BSG said it, well, Nikita said it in a podcast a long time ago. He said that's what his goal was. That's what their brainstorming big idea was, is that the game itself doesn't tell you how things are going to be in the raids or what to expect. Of course, me and you both know that the game is so, when you hit the go button, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if you're going to be put in a match with a bunch of rando hatchet people, or if you're put in a match with a bunch of 5-man teams that are like just completely kitted out to the gills. But Nikita said specifically that the way the loot is, the way the scavs spawn, their behaviors and all that stuff, like as they change it on the back end. They don't alert you up front. They want the community to spread the word. The community is what drives all the information.
Yeah.
So he really likes it when people are making their own maps and sharing their own maps. Like, this is the way I think the map looks like, and this is my map that you can look off of, and my call outs, and this is where all the loot's located, or loot containers or whatever, and spawn points. And so he likes that, and he likes people creating what they think are metas, even though Nikita says he doesn't like the meta, the best meta gun or the best meta armor. And that's the reason why they keep tinkering with that and they keep changing it. It's because he doesn't like those metas, but he does like that people are so in love with the game that they continue to try to make tools and spread good information instead of trying to find a way to undermine other people's ability to play the game. The community like helps each other out like so much.
Yeah, and the whole meta thing, and I think that's one of the things that I like for Escape from Tarkov versus say Warzone is Warzone. And 100%, if you're not running that meta and you come up against someone with that meta,
Yeah.
they could even be the worst player in the world.
Hmm.
But they have the gun that has zero recoil at the time. They're going to kill you. I mean, it doesn't matter what gun you have. It doesn't matter what you have. If you're not running that meta, you're not going to do well.
Wow. And that's in
Um,
Warzone?
that's in Warzone. I think right now, I think over the last season that they've done, because Warzone does seasons,
Hmm.
I think they've kind of learned they need to spread the wealth a little bit. And there's a lot more guns that are the meta.
Yeah.
Like you have a meta that's for the assault rifle. You have a meta that's for the SMG. There's two metas for sniper rifles. So it
Hmm.
kind of gives people more of an option. But back when it was owned by Modern Warfare, which is straight Activision and not Treyarch,
Okay.
um, Activision did one gun. That was the meta. If you weren't running it, you might as well not play the game.
Really?
Because you'd go up against these people and you'd be like, man, I hit them with like 10 bullets, and they hit you with 4 and you're dead. You could
Hmm.
have the jump on them, even shooting them in the head, which has the highest
Damage
damage
output.
ratio,
Hmm.
um, and they'd still turn around and hit you and kill you. Um, so I mean, and that's again something that Warzone started to work on, and I think a lot of this for Warzone is they know in a few months they might not have a game.
Really? I thought Warzone was still super popular.
No, I'm telling you, man, the anti-cheats in Warzone, the amount of cheaters in Warzone have caused a lot of people to not play the game anymore because you can't go into a lobby. I mean, there was a time where Overwolf created an overlay for Warzone that would kind of tell you in the lobby who's got least amount of hours played but the highest kill death ratio. And that's normally, if you ran into someone with that, it was a cheater 90% of the time. Because it's
Right.
like you've
Yeah.
only played the game for 4 hours, but you have a 10.0 KD. Um, there's no way that you're not cheating.
Yeah.
Um, and a lot of the streamers still played it because in the end, it is content. And a lot of people like that content.
Yeah.
But even the streamers are getting fed up with the no anti-cheat.
Hmm.
Um, because they get in and they get shot through a wall, or someone with an aimbot comes through and it's got perfect accuracy. Um,
Yeah, no, that shit's fucking really, really frustrating. I almost said the F word. That shit's really, really frustrating because in games like Warzone, it doesn't tell you you got killed by a cheater, so you have that seed of doubt that you got killed by a cheater, but the encounter was so freaking suspect that you just can't. It just makes you so bitter because you're playing honestly. You don't want to get banned, and also cheaters never prosper, and you know that that's not the way you can get enjoyment out of your hard work and stuff. Same thing with Tarkov. You know, if you get killed in a super sus way, sometimes you know that it's like they could have heard me. You know, they could have seen me. They could have been looking at me 2 minutes ago, and they didn't take a shot. And the way I got killed was just is just circumstantial. But then there's sometimes where it's like, dude, you really feel like you got cheated on, and there's just nothing you can do about it.
and that so the good thing with Warzone is you have a kill cam, so you can see how you died.
Yeah.
At least the last 15 seconds. Like a good one for me from yesterday. Um, I was playing with a random group of guys. All
Hmm.
three of them got killed. I was 2 buildings away
Yeah.
from this team that killed the other 3 guys. I was out looting. Um, and then as soon as they said there's guys here, I started rotating back. But I started rotating through the roof.
Okay.
Um, I get to the corner where I can just get to see them. And about 5 seconds before I hit that corner, someone with a sniper rifle down on that team is looking right at that corner, scoped in, for 5 seconds waiting for me to hit that corner.
Wow.
And with Call of Duty, there's wall hacks where you can actually see people through the wall where they're coming. And then with the good thing with Warzone 2 is you can spectate who killed you.
Yeah.
You might not be able to play the game, but you can sit there and watch them. And a lot of times that's how people will find that they're cheating. And then a lot of times for the content creators, they'll stream it, they'll clip it, and then they'll send it to Activision. Of course, but the issue with Activision is they do manual reviews.
And it takes forever if they even get to it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it sucks. And then they're like, oh, we bound with 40,000 accounts today. Well, what about the other 900,000 hackers out there that are still on your game?
Yeah, and they can just get a new account because it's free to play.
Well, and that's so Activision has done something good that way. They've got it to where if your IP address doesn't change, they don't block your account. They block your IP address.
Okay.
But that's after a year and a half of continued hackers for them to develop that.
Yeah, Veritas and Jesse Kazam, I listened to their podcast and they were talking trash on the whole IP ban thing at one point, and they know something that I don't. I don't know whether they're like, because they were saying that there's people that come into their streams and say, how come BSG just doesn't do hardware bans or IP bans, and that would fix the problem. And their attitude, they both kind of went, poof, and it's like, I don't know what they know that I don't know, but to me it feels like it makes sense. Why can't they just IP ban?
Especially if they're doing manual reviews. And so that's a good thing with Call of Duty, because there's a lot of streamers and content creators that get what's called a soft ban, and you're banned until that manual review has been done. But then as soon as that manual review is done and they realize that no, he wasn't hacking, they open your account back up. But if there's 100% proof that you were hacking, then it's as simple as hitting a button, they ban your IP. You can't just go get a new account. Sure, you can get a new IP address, but it's not as easy as just opening up a new account.
Yeah. How do you get a new IP?
Switching internet providers, moving to a different area. I mean, it's possible. It's not easy.
Yeah, much more of a barrier of entry than just buying a new account.
And then there are streamers too that are hacking and have been caught on stream with their hacks open on their stream page.
Yeah, I don't remember what YouTuber it was. I was watching somebody and they were showing a whole bunch of clips, montages of these streamers accidentally outing themselves by alt-tabbing to the wrong window that popped their cheats up on stream.
Yep. And there was a Twitch streamer that got caught cheating on stream. Like you could see the wall hacks on her stream. Like she forgot to turn them off when she went live, type of thing.
Like they were popping up as a display.
Yeah, like on her game when she's playing the game.
Yeah, like an overlay.
Yeah, you could see it. And this, of course, was in Counter-Strike, and she was a Twitch streamer. And I watched it yesterday, and her reaction is, "Oh, Clara, you were here messing with my computer. Now I'm going to get banned." And she's like trying to call Clara, and then it's like, no, you got caught hacking, and because you're a Twitch streamer that you got caught hacking on stream, that you're banned from Twitch.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't know Twitch. They do that?
Yep. If you're caught hacking, they ban you, and they will not let you create another account.
Really?
Because as a content creator, someone that people look up to, you should not be cheating.
Yeah, I agree. You shouldn't be. But yet there's people that do it. I didn't know Twitch banned. I didn't know that they didn't. I didn't know they had a policy where they wouldn't allow people to continue to stream even though they've been cheating.
Nope. They
Interesting.
ban it, and if you're a partner with them, you're no longer a partner. You're done.
What does that mean to be a partner?
So partnered with Twitch, versus saying be an affiliate with Twitch, um, you have a lot more perks. You have, I think with partner, you have to have 1,000 followers, like consistent followers, um, and even I think 100 subscribers, maybe more.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's all on what type of server you get as far as your stream goes. Like I had a buddy that was an affiliate on Twitch, but his streams were kind of mediocre because of the quality, not because his streams weren't bad. Like what he played was bad.
He just wasn't high energy. He
He
didn't draw
well,
a lot of people.
and well, he was still new,
Yeah.
so he hadn't drawn a lot of people yet. So he was still on Twitch's lower end quality wise of the stream versus saying that someone that's partnered, they're the guys that you're seeing their streams at 4K at
Oh,
60 to 120
I
frames.
thought I thought that had to do with your computer settings or something.
No, that's all done by the streaming too.
Oh wow. Okay.
For instance, when I stream, I can set it to where it streams at 30 hertz. I can set it to where it streams at 60 hertz. But if you're streaming with a company like Twitch or Facebook Gaming or even now YouTube Gaming,
Yeah.
um, they have the option to choose where those parameters are.
Huh. Okay.
And with Twitch, unless you're partnered, you're on the low end. They don't put as much effort into your streams as say someone that is partnered.
Wow. Okay. So you're saying that he was streaming and then what?
So like for him, he was streaming and there'd be a lot of lag, like he in the stream. And that's a lot of it's just because Twitch was not putting as much bandwidth towards his stream, say versus that person that's been on Twitch for 2 to 3 years with 10,000 subscribers and consecutively hitting 20,000 followers and watchers every day. But that the person that was banned, they were partner. They tried to go back as an affiliate, and within 2 days, Twitch recognized that it was the same person, and they completely blocked it again.
Wow.
They definitely take it pretty seriously, which is good. I mean, we don't need hackers, we don't need cheaters in video games because it takes away from the people that are trying to enjoy it.
Agreed. Yeah. So long story short is cheaters never prosper. Don't do drugs, kids.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't know that. Hopefully one day I'll get to experiment with some Twitch streaming stuff, but I can't do that right now. My internet's too crappy.
Yeah, and honestly, I think there's so many more options now, as far as streaming service like Facebook Gaming, 100%. One of the better platforms now, believe it or not.
Really?
They do have their issues still because they are new, but YouTube streaming on YouTube, a lot of people are even moving to that because YouTube is really well known
Yeah.
for videos.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And if you're streaming on YouTube, like one of the streamers, I don't follow him, but I watch a lot of his YouTube videos. He just partnered with YouTube on September 1st
Mm-hmm.
and created a whole separate YouTube account,
Yeah.
um, for the stream. That way he can keep the other YouTube account just for his videos. The one that he uploads, where the one with the stream, it'll just be all of his raw streams saved to that channel. Not the
Yeah.
edited, highlighted videos, just the raw streams.
Mm.
Because he's got people that will go back daily and watch the full stream after he's been live. They'll go back and they'll watch it. And he's like, I don't want to just put edited videos out all the time. I want people to still be able to watch my streams,
Yep.
even though I'm not live. And with Facebook, that's what they do. They save it for, I think, so long, and then you can watch it, rewatch it later on.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how all these different streaming services, how they keep those videos. I don't know if they. I know that some people said that the stream videos they get deleted on Twitch, but I don't know, was it 60 days or 30 days or something?
Yeah, on Twitch it does get deleted. On YouTube it's not going to be. It's going to be just like your YouTube channel,
It's going to be
where
permanent.
permanent, where it saves it until you delete your channel.
Wow, maybe I should try to stream to YouTube and see if it's just got a better connection. Maybe it'll work for me.
And then a lot of the streamers are using OBS as their streaming software, but they're streaming it to YouTube or Facebook or um, just because OBS is a free streaming software.
Yeah, most of them use the OBS. It's like community ran. It's just like Linux or whatever. It's like that group is passionate about it and they create it, and it's a free tool for everybody.
Yep.
Yeah, one of these days I would really like to learn how to use OBS because it may be better than using NVIDIA's baked-in recording software. That's what I primarily use. It's the only thing I use. And sometimes it leaves me desiring a little bit more because it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. And I don't know if it's just the way it is or if it's because there's just something better out there, you know?
Yeah, I mean it's definitely something to look into. I definitely think I kind of know a little bit of the problems you've run into with the NVIDIA recording and that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And I think it'll definitely help with, say, your voice overlays that you've had to go in and completely redo
Yeah.
every time you do a video. Because I mean, I'm sure that gets tiring in its own right because you've got to put it like right in that right spot. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just a whole nother step in the process that's already a lengthy process.
Yeah.
That maybe if you can cut that out with just some software and make it a little easier on yourself, I think it'd be worth a shot to try.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to learn how to use OBS. I think I downloaded OBS Streamlabs, and I think that's a different one.
Yeah, I think that's the OBS that's going through, that's offered by Streamlabs itself. Which Streamlabs is another great one because Streamlabs, say if you're a streamer but you're on multiple platforms, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, all of them,
Yeah.
Streamlabs will automatically upload going live to all of them at once.
Oh,
So
really?
it's just another tool. Yeah. The guy I had, the buddy I had that was on Twitch, was also on Facebook. He wasn't partnered or an affiliate. He was just an affiliate with Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
But his main streaming was with Twitch. But he used Streamlabs to set that up to where he was streaming on Twitch, Facebook, and a couple other ones all at the same time.
Hell yeah.
So, but a lot of the high-end content creators stay with one company, and I know there for a while. I know a lot of people left. Wasn't Twitch? What was the other big streaming service for a long time?
Oh, Mixer.
Yeah, a lot of people left Mixer and went to Facebook or YouTube or um, just because there were so many more options out now.
Yeah,
Like
Mixer failed.
one of the big streamers I subscribe to, I pay the $5 a month. He's the only one I do it to. Is Stone Mountain 64.
Mm-hmm.
Great content creator, really humbled in the way he is.
Yeah.
Um, I don't mind cussing, but if you're gonna cuss every sentence when you're streaming, not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
If you're gonna cuss every once in a while, I get it. You get in that moment, you get your adrenaline pumping, you just wiped a 4-man team. I get it. It's gonna happen. But if it's
Yeah.
just like you're just this cocky, arrogant person, I'm not gonna watch your streams.
Yeah.
Um, it's not worth it to me. And then with Stone Mountain, the people he plays with, none of them, some of them are the top players in the world, but they're humbled.
Yeah.
And I personally enjoy it. So that's why I subscribe to him. But he's partnered with Facebook and even has gotten lucky to work because he's one of the very first partnered Facebook streamers where he's got like 6 years where he gets every penny of the stars that he receives and the subscriptions he receives.
Ooh.
Facebook's not taking anything out of it yet. But he's made a really good name for himself on Facebook. I mean, there at one point he had 22,000 subscribers in 1 month.
Wow.
So it's just he's and then now he's also created what is it called? He's created a platform for people that want to learn how to stream and given them the tools. Yes, you have to pay monthly for it or even annually, depending on which one you want to do.
Yeah.
But it gives you tools that maybe you didn't have to understand how to be a streamer.
Hmm.
I've done one of his webinars with him where he just kind of talks about what people need to focus on when they're streaming and to become an effective streamer
Mm-hmm.
and even an effective content creator for that matter.
Mm.
Um, but he's helped so many people get their streaming career off the ground, especially this last year with COVID and a lot of people lost jobs. I mean, we all saw it. There's an influx of streamers just because of that.
Yeah.
Um, but it's Pipeline. That's the name of it, Pipeline.
Pipeline.
Um, but he kind of gives you tools. He gives you, you get a one-on-one with him and the other developer of Pipeline once a week um, to kind of talk about what you can improve on, some tips, and then they have like a whole video webinar session that you can just go through and watch as you want, kind of teach yourself um, on how to stream. And then there's a lot of the high-end streamers that I've watched that are on Pipeline just because it's a community like anything else.
Mm-hmm.
But for the new streamer, they'll even get those new streamers in their stream with someone like Stone Mountain, who's mainstream. Everyone knows who he is. He's been around since 2009, I think is when he first posted his first YouTube video.
Yeah.
Um, been around a long time. Um, but he'll bring those people in to give them that, hey, here's this streamer. Maybe you guys should go check him out. Give him some help or her or this person. So that's why I follow him.
Cool. Yeah. The only Stone Mountain 64 video I've ever watched was that famous one where it was ETA just got some intel from HQ, 5 minutes to bedtime, boys.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, his YOLO videos from Battlefield are really popular. Um, the ones with the Warzone that have become popular are he goes in as what he calls the commanding officer, and he
Yeah.
puts on this like commanding officer voice, and he's kind of real loud and but the people that if he gets into a lobby with people that are his fans, they
Yeah.
enjoy it. Um,
Right.
so it's definitely and every content creator has their niche, and that's exactly what he talks about in Pipeline. Is it's yes, this person's doing that, but you don't want to be doing the same thing that person's doing.
Yeah.
Um, like for instance, like Tim the Tatman, he does spectating Warzone solos, and it's become real popular for him. But that's his niche. No one else really does it. That's what he does. He makes a video of it, and it's getting him a bunch of subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah, man, you got to come up with something original, but the hard part is finding what's original, um, or what have you. I mean, the majority of everybody has just got to do what they can. I mean, not everybody's going to knock it out of the park and be super winners and successful and all that. Some of us, just like me, just like doing it as a hobby. So,
Yeah.
yep. Yeah, right on. I'll have to look at some of that stuff. I would like to become a better content creator and understand some of the principles of what makes more entertaining stuff, and I'm personally working towards that. I didn't have the capacity in the beginning. I only have so many hours in the day, and I was just trying to cut my teeth on video editing and just try to pump out projects. That way I can get a better idea. I mean, it's just like a martial art. I mean, you got to study the same basic moves over and over and over again before you can really start like blossoming into having a tool set like a tool belt in front of you. You know what I mean? So I think I'm getting to the point where I can start pumping it to the next level.
Well,
If I can stick with it.
I'll keep an eye out for when Stone Mountain does the next webinar. It's normally on Saturdays. It's about an hour and a half, 2 hours long normally.
Hmm.
Um, but it's a lot of useful information.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of goes over what they call the three pillars of content creation.
Okay.
Um, and it gives a general knowledge of how to be a content creator, whether you're the best at what you do,
Mm-hmm.
or you're more of an information type person.
Yeah.
You're a content creator, but you're informative. It's just all about, and he said that's the biggest thing is finding out where you're at. You don't have to be he says you don't have to be the best video game player to be a content creator.
Yeah. I know that's right.
You don't, because there's people that aren't. There's people that are content creators that just give information.
Yeah. I wanted to be one of those people in the beginning, but I realized that I just am not set up for that right now to do tutorials and share new information about whatever, but I'm just not. I'm personally, I'm physically, I'm mentally, spiritually, I'm not aligned for that right now. Eventually, maybe I can kind of work my way into that sort of thing, but it's like you can't do it all. So you just got to
Yeah,
kind of pick something. So
but yeah, I'll definitely when I see one pop up, I'll definitely send it your way, send you the information, see if you want to sign up and try it out.
yeah, okay, yeah, I look forward to that. I appreciate that. Well, um, GN Grizz, that's an interesting name. How did your family come by it?
So I was nicknamed Grizz back in high school. We had a group of guys, my group of friends, my little niche that I was a part of in high school.
Uh-huh.
Um, we all came up with some weird animal name for everybody.
Okay.
Um, we had a buddy that was named Wolf because this dude could clip his nails and have no nails, and he'd still scratch you. Not even
Mm.
trying to. We'd be playing football, in the park, and he'd still find a way to scratch you. And it's like, dude, you don't have nails. How are you scratching me? So they just stuck. We called him Wolf. We had one that we called Crow. I don't not entirely sure why we called him that. I think that was kind of he chose that name and that's what it stuck with.
Okay.
Um, I was chose as Grizz because out of all of my friends, I was the biggest for one, and I at that point it was a lot of people called me a grizzly bear because I would come in football. I would come and hit you. I wasn't going to be nice about it. I wasn't going to take it easy on you because you're small.
Mm.
If you have the football and it's my job to tackle you, I'm hitting you, and I'm not going to hit you gently.
Yikes.
Um, but a lot of that dealt with family issues at home, and football was my anger release. So,
Oh.
and I couldn't get in trouble for tackling somebody. It was my job to
Oh.
tackle them.
I
Um,
see.
so it just kind of stuck. Um, and then the GN came across because I had another buddy that came up, and his PlayStation ID is GN Cypress.
Okay.
And I always asked him, I said, well, what's the GN for? And it's General Cypress.
Okay. General. Yeah.
So when we were playing all the time together, um, we ended up just making the same sort of ID. Mine was GN underscore Grizz. His was GN underscore Cypress. We didn't have any numbers, but when we played together, people knew that these guys were together because
Mm-hmm.
that was back before you had clan tags and
Yeah.
all that other stuff. So, and it's just kind of stuck. And
Okay.
then as it's progressed, all of my accounts have gone to GN underscore Grizz because there's no one else that's had it. I don't have any numbers after it. Um, I think in Discord there are people that have it. I don't know because I still have numbers. I think that's just how Discord is.
No, yeah, no, Discord's like that. Everybody gets a unique PIN number behind their name after the name.
But my Activision ID, a lot of people have numbers after their Activision ID. I don't. I have a number 0.
Right. Yep.
Um, and my Xbox Live account, it's GN underscore Grizz, no numbers. So it's kind of worked out because it's that.
It's unique enough that no one else has got it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great. That's perfect. I like that. Grizz. So like grizzly bear.
Yep.
Yeah. And for those folks at home, and if it was dark enough, you would think this man is a grizzly bear. You are large.
Yeah, I am. I admit it.
He's a big old boy. Uh, yeah, cool, man. Right on. It's good to have a unique name. I think everybody's got to come up with some moniker or some gamer handle or something on the internet. It seems like everybody's got one. You know, they don't. I, I, I don't think anybody like logs into the video game world and they want to go by, you know, uh, whatever Mortimer Price or um, Jesse Anderson or whatever. You know, they don't. That's silly to go by your real life name in the video, even though it's like silly to pick a made up name. You know what I mean? But it's like even sillier to go by Tom Sanders or something.
Yeah, no, I agree. It just gives that persona. You don't have to share your name. You don't have to share your details. Um, because unless you know the person, you don't want them knowing your name. You don't want them knowing who you are.
Right.
You're talking to a complete stranger.
Yeah.
Um, but then you get to know the people and you play with them for a long time, and it's like, oh, well, I'll add these guys to Facebook. Like I have a bunch of friends from when I played Call of Duty Ghosts on my Facebook account that I still keep in contact with in Facebook. They don't not play video games anymore, but I kind of grew that friendship over video games with these people. I know a lot about their personal lives. I knew a lot about who they were in general. I knew where they lived. So it definitely, at first though, they didn't know who I was. I was just some Grizz guy.
Yeah.
Um, but then I didn't have to share that information until I got to know them.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Once you become friends, I think it becomes more personal. It makes more sense. You pick up on their name and that sort of stuff. More interconnections. Like I just started my Instagram stuff a couple of months ago, and it's like it's a whole world, man. Like I have not been a part of. I don't do Facebook. I don't do Twitter, and there's a whole bunch of them that I've never been a part of. But since I've been doing the YouTube stuff, and since I've been doing I started doing TikTok stuff, it's like you've almost got to like be on all the platforms, man, because it's so interconnected.
Yeah,
Kind
and
of.
I'm on Instagram and Facebook. I
Yeah.
have a Twitter account. I don't actually use it.
Yeah.
I created it for a giveaway, and that's all I use it for.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool, man. I can dig it. With your permission, I'll put some of your links down below to your social stuff at the end
Yeah,
of the in the description below, guys.
yep.
Yeah,
My
if you just
Instagram has nothing to do with video games, just FYI for people listening.
yeah, yeah. I think that's really cool to have a concept too of what it's all about. I don't really have them. I just kind of do whatever, you know. Um, yeah, whichever way the wind blows and it takes me, that's kind of what I do. Same thing with the YouTube. I think a smarter person would be a little bit more focused, but I'm not that smart, so I just kind of do it.
But
Um,
you have some uniqueness to your videos on YouTube. At least I personally think so.
aw,
Um, uh, a little plug here for him is his long play videos. I personally enjoy them, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that won't because they're not that quick 10-minute highlighted video.
mm,
Um, but for people that have never played the game, it's an hour of raw, unedited video gameplay for that specific title. And I think even when the games are coming out, all we get is like a quick 5-minute gameplay teaser.
mm,
Um, and sure, they're never going to put the bad stuff in that gameplay trailer. Let's just be real honest. They're going to edit that out
right,
because they want you to buy the video game. Um,
yeah.
so I think the long plays that you put out just give a better feel for the game without the edited.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Without opinions being shoved in there, without biasms. It's just like if there is biasms, it comes out in the conversation if it's a multiplayer game. If it's a single player game, the way I'd like to do the uh, the video for it is there's no reason for me to communicate. If it's a single player game, I'm sitting there just recording how I play the game, and hopefully I didn't do something stupid in the middle of the game, like I don't know, like get lost and run around circles for 20 minutes trying to find the way out of the map or whatever. But I try to make those cinematic because obviously the single player long plays that I do, they're not multiplayer, so there's less vocal engagement. So if you're not actually actively watching the video, there's not a whole lot you're going to get from those single player games. So visually, I strive for it to be a little bit more cinematic and almost like this is a pro doing like a pro run through of the game. Like any of the single player long plays that I've done, they've all like I've played the game once already, like so I know how everything goes. Or if it's one of those games where you can die over and over and over again, then I'll make sure that I don't ever die. You know what I mean? Like I'll replay the level and do it as perfectly as I can without breaking the immersion that it's all one playthrough. But then, of course, the multiplayer games, whatever opinions there are, that's baked in. You know, if I'm talking with somebody else, that's just the way it's going to have to be. But yeah, the idea of the long play isn't to color it any certain way, for sure. Thank you. I appreciate your kind words.
Hey, you create the content. I just watch it.
Or listen to it.
Yep.
Yeah, I listen to a lot of YouTube too. So whenever I can be just in the zone and just doing whatever it is that I need to be doing at work, sometimes I'll plug the earpiece in and turn on maybe some philosophy or something, you know, or something like that for 30 minutes or a whole album, listen to a whole album on music, and it's great, man. I love it. It really
Yep.
keeps me happy when I'm at work because if I was just sitting up there in silence, I would go absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, and I think that's when I do it too. I think that's when, like for instance, the EFT content from Nikita and the other content creators. A lot of that stuff you don't really have to watch.
No, yeah.
You can, especially if you play the game, just by listening to what they got to say, you can understand what they're trying to say and how it pertains.
Yeah.
So that's when I personally like to listen to those videos because I don't really have to focus on watching it. It's going to give me what I need to know, and I'm going to be prepared when I load the game back up again.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm 100% there. I listen to a lot of the news, Tarkov related news and opinions and all that stuff. And it really helps to sharpen me, you know, to understand what I can, yeah, just, I mean, if you're into it, you're into it, man.
Yep,
Yep. Yeah, man, I really like EFT. I just can't wait to get better internet. That's all.
it definitely helps.
All right, man. Are you about ready to transition into the crazy personal story section of the show?
Yeah,
All right. Do you want to go first, or would you like me to go first?
I'll go first. That way maybe yours doesn't seem so bad.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Let me
my
snuggle up in
crazy
my chair. I'm ready.
my crazy and personal story would be the the murder suicide of my daughter's mom. A lot of people see it on TV, we see it in the news, and we always think, well, that's not going to happen to us. And I honestly, I was one of those people. I was like, oh, that'll never happen to anyone I know. Um, and about 3 years ago, it did. My daughter's mom was killed by her narcissistic husband um, because she wanted a divorce. When he realized what he had done, he took the chicken shit way out of it and took a shotgun to his head. Um, it's it was full of tragedy. It was full of a lot of emotion and a lot of even I would say I went into a sort of depressed state for about 6 months to a year. Um, but a good person that we both know kind of helped me get through this situation, and that Greg Hall is his name. I really thought of him as a good friend, good person. Uh, he kind of went through something similar in his life, and he just kind of taught me how to live with that tragedy, with that that raw emotion that came from it, and maybe how to turn it into something greater. And since then, I 100%, if I have a chance to, if I see someone in public that their spouse is maybe being abusive, like more than just playful abusive, because me and my wife play with all the time like that. But there's definitely times when you can see that the spouse is uncomfortable, um, that their husband or their wife are just sitting there belittling them in public.
Hmm.
Um, I've gotten to the point where if I can stand up and at least say something, I'm going to. Because in the back of my mind with my daughter's mom is I told her, I tried to warn her, I tried to, and I always felt like I didn't do enough.
Mm.
And I don't know what it would be like if I were to see that couple that I saw fighting 2 days ago in a bar or in Walmart or Target, wherever I'm at. I see that on the news that one of the spouses was murdered by the other one. And I didn't even attempt to maybe stop it. Because I hold a lot of resentment for not doing enough with my daughter's mom, which in the end, it's not my fault.
Hmm.
And I know that, but I always have that sort of guilt.
That's pretty heavy, dude.
Like I said, you don't think it's going to happen to you. I 100%. That's the stuff you hear in movies. That's the stuff you see on
The news.
docu-series on
Yeah.
Netflix. It's
Mm.
not something you expect to ever actually live and be a part of.
You're right. Yeah, I agree. You don't, and it's pretty bad when it happens to you. I totally agree. I really hope that that your daughter is mentally stable and is growing up the best that she can, given the news, and all that stuff. I really hope she's doing all right. I know you're doing your best to be all right, but for her, your 9-year-old, I really hope that that it works out. Um,
I do too.
it's gonna be it's gonna be scarring. I mean, you're an adult and you're scarred from it. Just man.
And she's really scarred from it. She walked in on the aftermath.
Oh,
Yeah.
fuck, man.
So she's in counseling every week. I want to say she's ADD, ADHD, which I'm sure that doesn't help with it. But she's in the custody of her grandparents, and they don't kind of believe in that kind of medication, so
Sure.
they won't even go and get her tested. I really
Mm,
think they should and get her on the medicine because I think it would take that away from all the other trauma that she has. Because right now we don't know if I mean, it's been 3 years and you figure, well, they're still going to feel trauma, but
yeah.
how much of what she's doing is because of the trauma and how much is because of it that she probably has this underlying condition that we're just kind of negating as trauma. Um, so, but I think she has her days, she has her rough days, and she has her good days. But it's something she's going to have to live with. Um, I'm sure that visual is not a sight to see for anybody. And
Yeah.
it's not like she was 2 when it happened. She was 6. So
Right.
it's not something she's going to forget.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you. That's a really tough age to be exposed to something like that, man. That's terrible. How rotten. How unfair. How sick.
But
Wow.
there was good to come out of it because she got to meet her dad. Because up to that point, I hadn't seen her since she was about a year and a half.
Because you guys were estranged.
We were estranged, and then my daughter's mom's husband, being the narcissist that he was, really forced me out of the picture when he came into the picture.
No,
Um,
okay. So he was part of the problem.
yep, but he also did that to her family. He pushed them out. But that's what a narcissist does. They want you to feel alone, where they have full control, and they make it to where you can't live without them type of situation. That's what a narcissist does.
Hmm.
So it sucks that it had to come from that for me to get to see my daughter again and for her to get to know who I am.
Yeah.
But that is the positive that I look at every day, regardless that it came from such a tragic event.
Sure.
Um, I now get to at least try to make her life somewhat normal.
Is she living close to you now?
She's about 2 hours away from me still. I get her about once or twice a month. I talk to her about 2, 3 times a week on the phone. Um, so
Hmm. Yeah, that is brutal, man. I can't even imagine. I do have some family members that's been involved in some tragedies like that, but that's not my business to talk about. Yeah, dude. I'm sorry to hear about that.
thank you. Appreciate it. Now, what do you got for a personal crazy story to maybe lighten the mood?
Uh, well, I was going to tell you about this one time where I broke my toe, but I don't think it's all that important now. Um, I got a real quick one. It's kind of a funny story. I went to Las Vegas once. You ever been to Las Vegas?
Yeah, I graduated high school from there.
So you've been there. Yeah, you've been there once or twice. So we were gonna, I think we were gone for maybe 4 or 5 days, something like that. And we had a dog, so we had somebody house sit instead of having my parents do it. We had this guy that my wife knew from work. He came over and lived at our place. So we took a we were going to take a plane trip out there, right? But we wanted to make sure that this guy was set up. So we went and did grocery shopping to make sure he had enough food. We got the dog food. We got enough. Uh, Made sure that had shampoo and toilet paper and just all the stuff that you're going to have somebody living out of your house for 4 days feeding and watering the dog. So I was being I was being facetious and silly, and I bought a pack of sticky notes, and I left sticky notes all over everything so that way this guy knew what it was. I put a sticky note on the coffee maker saying this is how you make this is where you make the coffee. I put a sticky note on the roll of toilet paper, so after like the first wad that you roll off of there, the sticky note would pop up because I like backed it up on the roll, and it told him that it was a toilet paper. I put a sticky note on the fridge saying this is the refrigerator, and I was just being funny, right? Anyway, so we did all that. And we took a ride out to Las Vegas, and we had a good time. We called him a couple times, checked in, everything was cool. But we went to Las Vegas. We got drunk, we partied, gambled some money away, saw some shows, walked the street, did a bunch of crazy stuff, and we went out there. We had a lot of fun at Las Vegas, did a lot of cool shit. Took the plane ride back, and he had left. He left a sticky note saying that everything was cool, and he really enjoyed his time. And we gave him a call, and everything was all right. Our dog was cool. Everything was fine, except we had went and bought a bunch of food for this guy, and he ate what was in the fridge, and everything was fine with the house. What I'm trying to say is, I climbed back in my truck to go someplace for the first time after 5 days, and it was not pleasant because we had left a pack of steak by accident in the vehicle because we went to go do food shopping for him, and we left a pack of steak in there. So it was sitting in there for like 6 effing days. And dude, it stank so bad inside my truck for like a month. It was like a dead animal inside there.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
I can't
So
even imagine.
it was so rank. It was nasty. So yeah, that's my funny story. The big takeaway from this is if you're gonna have somebody house sit and you're gonna leave, you better make sure you double and triple check your vehicle. You didn't leave any food in there.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Well, all right. I guess this about wraps it up. Hey, G and Grizz, you got anything else you'd like to say before we get off?
Just thank you for inviting me. Thank you for letting me be a part of this. I hope it gets some good content for you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I like it a whole lot. I look forward to having you back on, and we could talk more about the video games that we're into, and maybe we could bust into some movies and music and stuff. But I think this one was super fruitful and super productive. Um, the uh, the personal story was like, man, that's like a rocket ship. That's like, dude, that's heavy. I'll be thinking about that for a while. I really appreciate your time and your attention. Thank you very much for being on, G and Grizz.
Yeah. Catch you in the next one.
Yeah, man. Catch you in the next one. So for all you folks at home, links down below. Check him out. Check out his YouTube stuff, and if you want to see some of his Instagram stuff, Project Black Sheep, we'll have that link down there too. And hey, this is Protodead signing off. Thank you for checking it out. If you like this podcast, give me a like. If you disliked it, hit the thumbs down button. Leave a comment down below expressing any other feelings that you might have about it. And until next time, I'll catch you on the flip-flop.